for everybody assembling on short notice. I'm here to confirm what everybody obviously already knows, that we agreed to terms with on a one-year deal. I think from our standpoint as an organization, it was a good compromise. Justin, you know, gave us one of the best moments for our franchise in the last number of years when he chose Edmonton, and really highlighted the potential of the group that we had, and him being very much a key part of that core group. So I think the one thing through the course of the negotiation that we all agreed on was the untapped potential and the incredible potential of this player. I go back to when we first signed him during the lockout, when he went to the American Hockey League and led the American Hockey League in scoring as a defenseman in his first year. Things that just don't happen to average or good players. Those things only happen to great players, and I feel like Justin is going to be a great player and certainly a great Oiler, and I think time will bear that out. So we're very happy to get the deal done prior to training camp. I think that you know, what we wanted to do as an organization was buy ourselves a little bit of time so we have what we feel is going to be a much better environment to negotiate a long-term deal in terms of the potential growth of the player and also the potential growth of the team. I think both those things are, you know, it's a time for optimism this time of year. We're very optimistic going into the year, and I think that, you know, to Justin's credit, he's got a lot of confidence in his ability too. He was happy to take a one-year deal, and you know, we had great discussions ongoing the last couple months with Newport, who I will say represented Justin very well, and you know, both sides chose not to go to arbitration. Justin could have gone to arbitration. We could have taken Justin to arbitration, but we both agreed again that that wasn't the right thing for this player, to take a player that we feel so strongly about in our future and put through that divisive process. So that was pretty much it in a nutshell, trying to anticipate some of your questions. If you have anything, I'm happy to answer anything. Any questions? Yeah.
Sorry, Craig, you mentioned the compromise. At any point did you discuss, you know, a longer deal along the lines of something that you've done with Paul or Nugent Hopkins or Jordan Eberle?
We had some discussions there, but we couldn't. We had trouble agreeing on a number based on such a small sample size for Justin, and I think that you know, albeit he's a bit older, he's really only played 110 or 50, 20 games or something like that in the league, and we as an organization wanted a little bit more information, fully aware that information can be expensive, and he was very very willing to provide us that information, and that's what we're going to see. And he felt strongly that he's going to hit it out of the park this year, and I agree with him.
So that information, Craig, is obviously just more time on the ice to see how he evolves, more so in the defensive end. I think we all see his offensive numbers.
Well, I disagree with the perception that he's weaker on the defensive side of things. I mean, your plus minus would lead you to that conclusion, but I've always believed that he's he's very good defensively, and if there's a one-on-one happening on the ice and Justin's defending it and I'm upstairs watching, I'm pretty happy and pretty sure that he's going to defend it well. He showed me at the end of last year that he really was managing the decisions that, you know, you need the experience to manage the decisions on when to go, when to stay back, when to, you know, probe offensively, when to get back, and he was managing those decisions very well. I think that, you know, the coaching staff did a good job communicating that with him, but I really believe this guy's going to be a player that's, I know he's going to be a player that can be counted on in both ends and equally effective in the defensive zone.
So during that negotiation, Craig, how tough was this negotiation for you in terms of all the contracts you've worked since you've figured it out?
Well, I knew when there's you know, where there's a significant gap between where the player is currently and where we expect the player to be. And we really agreed that that gap is significant. So it's, you know, and Newport recognized that too as well. So to their credit, they weren't going to undersell the potential of this player. And we agreed on that fairly quickly, that a shorter term deal might benefit both parties, and it'd be an easier deal to agree on.
What is the potential? Do you see him as a top pairing defenseman? I don't know if you increase him with Derek Carlson at that point.
Yeah.
You put him in the league of Tang and all those other
Oh, yeah.
guys.
Yeah. I think the potential there is absolutely in that group. I think that Justin has Norris Trophy potential, and I don't think there are too many people that would disagree with me in that regard.
What do you see Craig Ramsey doing as far as augmenting Craig Schultz?
Well, I think that much like Steve Smith did, I think Craig is going to give Justin a very experienced perspective on managing decisions and being aggressive. He's going to encourage Justin, as well as in conversations that I've had with Craig, he encourage the rest of our defense to get up into play, and that's really what you need to do to create offense in today's NHL, because a lot of times it's the fourth and fifth guys into the zone that are going to create that chance, and Craig's going to, with his experience and his great perspective on the game, he's going to be able to communicate that to Justin and keep him on the path of growth.
Schultz chose a lot of Oilers over a lot of clubs that were willing him when he was on the open market. So obviously he wants to be here. But in terms of his fitting in as part of the future, where do you see him as a forward or group player?
Well, right in the mix of the most important guys on our team. There's no question of that. I think that you know, there's a certain amount of loyalty, and we want to look after our players, and we want to send a message to all our players that we are be a very loyal organization. We're going to look after our players. It's been difficult to do based on the results, and I think everybody's growing anxious for improvement and better results. But we feel like, you know, again, I'm optimistic about this group that we have. You know, I think that there's reason for optimism. I don't want it to be blind optimism, but I really feel like given the opportunity, we can extend a great degree of loyalty to players like Justin, who we appreciated choosing us over the 29 other teams.
Craig, you said from what you see, you like a lot of Schultz's defensive game as much as offensive. You guys have recently hired an analytics guy. The analytics guys will be all over Schultz, saying his possession numbers aren't very high. How do you mix those two? Is that an example of one where you don't necessarily agree with the analytics? Or
That's yeah. I mean, I'm not. I think the analytics on players is very important. I disagree with it on the way it assesses our group a lot of times, but I think it leads us to ask different questions than what we would normally ask of the tactics that we deploy and the ice time that we give to players. So it leads us to ask questions that we wouldn't otherwise ask. But at the end of the day, I'm evaluating our team based on watching them play 65, 70 times a year, and I've got a pretty good idea, I think, in my mind, where the value is.
Have you dug into analytics more, maybe this something you had before? Is there anything where you see that you like about it, or anything where you don't see the connection between what you see to what the numbers show?
Yeah, I think we're on the cutting edge of teams in the NHL that deploy these types of numbers. Without getting too far into it, I believe in the possession numbers. I mean, I think that there are anomalies in individual players' possession numbers, but they're collectively within your group and your team. You have to drive possession. It's directly correlated to points in the standings. Possession and points in the standings are directly correlated. I think that You have to be careful on an individual basis. I mean, it leads you to try and identify value and outliers, that guys that may have unrecognized value. So I believe really possession is a measure of your team's collective ability to make plays with the puck, and to me that's skill. So it's a measure of skill. It's not a measure of toughness. It's not a measure of character, but it is a measure of your team's ability to make plays.
Craig, in terms of, back to Justin for a second.
Yeah.
In terms of ice time, less speed more with him. You've got more depth now in defense. He played a lot of minutes, and at times looked fatigued as games wore on. You think he might actually be more active, maybe cutting his minutes down by 10 seconds to 2 minutes a game?
He could. You know, it really depends on the evolution of the player, and development and progress for a player is seldom a straight line, and we're trying to give an estimate or a guesstimate of what the potential is and where he's going to get to, and we all feel it's high, but it's seldom a straight line. There are some peaks and valleys along the way. But I suspect that Justin is going to come into camp. We're all going to see a player playing at a different level. I think there's going to be some significant improvement in him at training camp, and I expect him to play every bit as much.
Last year you had Petrie and Justin play 45 minutes a game, but you really struggled to find that third, right shot guy or put left shot guys over there. Now you have Mark Fink. I guess that's where
Yeah.
a little bit different makeup with your group that might allow the coach to.
Well, there are maybe more role-specific areas that Mark would potentially be a better fit on as a first penalty-killing defenseman than potentially Jeff or Justin. But I'm not sure about that. We'll have to see, because both those players have great potential. Yeah, I think there's in analyzing the marketplace, there is a premium on offense. There's a premium on which generally lends itself to forwards being evaluated from a systemic point of view higher than defensemen. I don't think that we necessarily had Newport agree with that, but they make a valid point too. But I think there's when you're comparing defensemen, we really wanted to compare other defensemen during this negotiation, and a lot of times defensemen are not valued in the marketplace as high as some of the young forwards that have scored a bunch of goals.
Craig, if you hit game one of the regular season with the group of centers that you have right now, are you comfortable with that? Where would you characterize the need to add at that position specifically before that?
Well, we're going to go into camp barring anything unforeseen with the group that we have right now, and we've made some improvements in some of our personnel, mostly on the wings. We've got Leon Draisaitl, which is a big question mark for an 18-year-old's ability to come in. We've got Anton Lander, who has shown an ability to score and be a really good player at the American League level. We've got Mark Arcabello, who's, when we sent him back, he had 2 points a game at the American League level, or very close. He's got potential to fill one of those roles. When you look at our depth chart, I understand and certainly agree with that position having the most question marks. But I think that the onus is going to be on this current group of players to show an ability to be competitive for a playoff position, and the onus is going to be on Arcabello, Anton Lander to show, Leon Draisaitl to show that they're ready to play. And if our team is competitive and we still have a hole or a question mark in those positions, then as the season goes on, we get more information. There may be a potential, would we, deploy some of our future assets to fill that current need, that would be something that we'd be interested to do. But the onus is on this group of players to prove, much like the group of players did in 2006 when we needed some goaltending. And that group proved that we were right in the mix, and then we were able to address that, or Kevin was, in getting Dwayne Rollison, and then the team took off. And I can see a similar situation, but that might be overly optimistic at this point, but we'll see.
Reading into that a little bit, are you,
Yeah.
so you're saying maybe there's deals there to be had right now where you could improve yourself in the position, but the timing of it isn't what you're looking for?
There's not a deal there right now. There's not a deal right now, because us, like everybody else, is very optimistic. We're all undefeated in July and August. So, but things change once the fur flies in October. So, you know, we're hopeful that with the group that we have, we're going to be competitive, and then we'll be able to address. We've got, at this point, maybe one need. I mean, there'll probably be others that that reveal themselves over the course of time, but right now we have one, and we'll see if, you know, this group is good enough to, or the players coming in to fill that void are good enough.
Craig, is that,
Yeah, well, ideally, we would put, you know, somebody that fits that makeup, slot him in behind Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but at the same time, you know, we talk about a lot of the changes that we've made on our team, but this is going to be done by the core group of players, and you know, our line of Hall, Hopkins, and Jordan, those guys are going to continue to evolve, and they're going to have to start winning those matchups. Well, anybody, fan, coach, manager, media, anybody that says that they can tell you definitively whether Lee Draisaitl is ready or not ready right now before getting the information at training camp is naive, and that would, you know, that would reveal a very superficial understanding of the game of hockey. And fortunately, we don't have to make that decision right now. I, in my mind, think that he's going to make a very strong case. I've seen him play. He's going to make a strong case. I'll be shocked if he doesn't make a strong case. This decision will be, if this decision is easy, he's staying. You know, I don't think he's going to come in and not make a case for himself. I'd be shocked. He's stayed here. He's worked out. And but we're going to have to make sure that we can protect him in some of these matchups. And
Looking at your, going back to your blue line, with the addition of Mark Bain, clearly he's your shutdown, right? Shot defense, plays a lot of tough minutes, says he really enjoys that factor. Have you and Dallas talked about, who do you see as a partner for Schultz? Is it Nikita Nikitin? Is it parents of one of the young kids?
well, I think Dallas obviously has his ideas going into training camp, but he's very open-minded. I think you know, it should be a competitive training camp, and you know, who knows what chemistry is going to arise amongst this group of 8 defensemen that we have. I mean, there's going to be some significant competition with Oscar and Marty and Darnell, and you know, that's going to be worth the price of admission at training camp to watch these players compete, because as we all know, the competitiveness is really what drives development, and I think we're all looking forward to training camp. But I'll say the same thing about Draisaitl. We just don't know. We'll make those decisions through training camp.
Greg, having guys like Oscar and Marty and those guys having come up with the system, is that maybe a bit of reluctance to sign Justin long term? With that play?
No. We want Justin. That has nothing to do with Justin's long-term future. We want him long-term. He's going to be a really good player. I'd be, you know, absolutely shocked if that didn't happen. And I think that what Justin brings, everybody's looking for, and we're thankful we've got him. All right, thanks everybody. Enjoy the rest of the summer. He